The night on Neo-Earth was colder than usual, and the streetlights buzzed weakly as if they were tired too. Evan stood outside the old apartment building with a small bag in his hand and pain in his eyes. His breath came out as white fog in the dark. He had lost his job 2 weeks ago, and today the landlord did not even let him explain. He pushed Evan out, threw his few things on the floor, and shouted at him in front of everyone. "You did not pay rent. Get out. You humans think I run charity?" The alien landlord's sharp voice echoed in the hallway. Evan did not fight. He did not argue. He only lowered his head and stepped outside quietly. The door slammed shut behind him like a final warning that he no longer belonged there. But he was not alone. Beside him stood a tiny, alien girl with soft pale green skin and shining blue eyes. Her name was Liri, and she held Evan's sleeve with both hands, her little fingers trembling. She looked scared and lost under the cold sky. She did not belong to him. She was not his daughter. She was someone he found months ago, hiding behind a trash bin, weak and hungry. From that day, he promised himself he would protect her, no matter what. Now both of them were homeless. People on the street walked past them without even looking. Some aliens whispered among themselves. Some humans turned their eyes away. A grown man and a little alien girl standing on the street at night was not anyone's concern. Liri's glowing eyes kept moving left and right, watching every shadow. She pressed closer to Evan, and he gently placed his hand on her head. "It's okay, Liri," he whispered softly. "I'm here." But she did not look calm. Instead, she looked terrified. Her small body shook, and her lips pressed together tightly. Then she leaned close to him, almost too close, and whispered with a voice so low that only he could hear her. Evan, they will come for me tonight." Evan froze. He slowly bent down so he could see her face clearly. "Who will come? What do you mean?" Liri's throat bobbed as she swallowed her fear. A tear rolled down her cheek. "The ones my mother ran away from." His heart sank. Back when he found her, she never explained much about her past. She simply said her mother told her to hide. She never said why. She never said who. She never said what they wanted from her. But the fear in her eyes now, it was real. Very real. Before Evan could ask more, a loud metallic sound came from the dark alley behind them. Something heavy. Something sharp. Something not human. Evan turned slowly. A long shadow moved between the dumpsters. It stepped closer, but then stopped as if watching them. Liri gasped and hid behind Evan's leg. "Evan, they found me." His mind raced. "No, it can't be. She's just a child. Who would chase her? Why?" He took her hand quickly. "Come on. We need to move." They walked fast down the sidewalk. The air felt heavier with every step. Evan kept looking back. The shadow kept following. Not close enough to see clearly, but close enough that Evan knew it was not normal. Liri tugged on his hand. "My mother said, if they find me, they will take me away forever. I don't want to go, Evan. I don't want to go." Her voice cracked into a sob. Evan stopped under a flickering street lamp. He knelt down and wiped her tears with his thumb. "I won't let anyone take you," he said calmly, even though fear made his chest tight. "Not while I'm breathing." The lamp above them buzzed and then went dark. A chill wind blew past them. Liri clung to him. Then another sound from the alley, this time closer. A low growl. Metal dragging on the ground. Footsteps that did not match any species Evan knew. He held Liri close. "We need to get somewhere safe. Now, I know a place," she whispered quickly, her voice shaking. "But we must hurry before they send more." Evan stared at her. "More? How many are there, Liri?" She lifted her teary blue eyes to him with a truth that broke his heart. "My mother said, they will never stop looking for me. Not until I am taken back." The shadow stepped out further. A tall, dark figure with glowing red eyes stared at them. And Evan realized one thing. Tonight he was not just homeless. He was now protecting a child who was being hunted by something far more dangerous than he ever imagined. Evan held Liri's tiny hand tightly as they hurried down the empty street. The tall shadow behind them did not run, but it kept moving with slow, heavy steps. Each step felt like it was getting closer, even when Evan did not look back. The cold night became even colder, and a strange wind blew against their backs as if warning them to move faster. Liri breathed fast, her steps short and shaky. "Evan, my legs hurt," she whispered. "I know," he said gently, lifting her in his arms. "Hold on to me." The little alien girl wrapped her arms around his neck. Her body felt colder than normal, and her glowing skin flickered faintly. A sign her energy was dropping. Her species had weak bodies when they were scared or stressed. Evan worried she might faint soon. He kept moving, turning into a smaller street where most buildings were closed. Only a few neon signs blinked miserably in the dark. Liri pointed weakly toward an old, broken pedestrian bridge. "Up there," she whispered. "There is a place under the bridge where my mother once hid me. It will keep us safe from eyes." Evan nodded. It wasn't much, but they didn't have a choice. They reached the stairway of the bridge. Evan climbed slowly, careful not to slip, because the metal steps were covered in frost. When they reached the top, Evan saw a dark little space under the bridge floor, hidden from the road and safe from the rain. He placed Liri down gently. "Are you okay?" he asked. Liri nodded weakly. Her small body curled up like she was trying to stay warm. Evan sat in front of her, blocking the cold wind with his own body. He had no blanket, no jacket, nothing good enough to protect her. So he removed his thin hoodie and wrapped it around her. "You need this more than I do," he said. Liri looked up at him, her blue eyes sad. "You will get cold," he smiled. Softly, "I'll survive," but his heart was racing. He kept listening for footsteps from below. The tall shadow had stopped following them once they climbed up the bridge. For now, Liri tugged at Evan's sleeve. "Evan, I want to tell you something about them, the ones who are after me." He looked at her with full attention. "Tell me." She took a shaky breath, her small fingers gripping his hoodie tightly. "They are not like normal hunters," she said. "They are called the Seekers. They work for the High Council of my world. They are made, not born. They do not feel pain or fear or pity. They exist only for one job, to find me." Evan felt a chill crawl up his spine. "Why you? What makes you so important to them?" Liri looked down at her hands, almost ashamed. "My mother said I have a rare energy inside me. Old magic from our ancestors. This energy can power something dangerous, an ancient weapon that the council wants. If they use me, they can control many worlds. My mother ran away to keep me safe." Evan stared at her, shocked. The little girl he saved months ago was the key to a weapon powerful enough to start wars. He lowered his voice. "Liri, do they want to hurt you?" She swallowed hard. "Not hurt, but use me. They need me alive. But once the ritual starts, I will never be free again." Her voice cracked. "I don't want to be a tool, Evan. I want to live." Before Evan could answer, a sudden metallic clang echoed from below the bridge. The sound was so loud that Liri flinched. Evan crawled to the edge of the bridge floor and peered down. His heart dropped. 3 shadows now stood below, not 1, 3, all tall, all still, all facing the stairs. The Seekers had found them. Liri grabbed Evan's arm. "Evan, they brought more. They always come in groups of 3. First the scout, then the hunter, then the binder." Evan didn't know what those names meant, but they sounded bad. Very bad. He moved back to Liri. "We can't stay here," he said. "They'll come up any second. But I'm tired, Liri whispered. I can't run anymore, Evan thought quickly. If they tried running, she might collapse. If they stayed, the Seekers would catch them. He needed a plan fast. Looked at the other side of the bridge. There was an old emergency ladder leading down to a surface tunnel. It wasn't safe. But it was their only chance. Evan lifted Liri again. Hold tight, we're going down. She clung to him with all her strength. From below, the Seekers stepped onto the metal stairs, their footsteps loud and slow, getting closer. Evan climbed over the railing, holding Liri close, and stepped onto the shaking emergency ladder. The night wind howled. The ladder creaked. The Seekers climbed. And Evan, with a child who trusted him more than anyone, began a dangerous descent into the dark tunnels below, with no idea what waited inside. But one thing he knew for sure: he would not let them take her. Not tonight, not ever. Evan's hands shook as he climbed down the old emergency ladder, with Liri held tightly against his chest. The metal rungs were rusty and slippery from the cold. Every time the wind blew, the entire ladder trembled, making the descent feel even more dangerous. Below them was darkness deep, silent, and unknown. Above them, the Seekers climbed the bridge stairs with slow, heavy steps. Their glowing red eyes scanned the area, and their metal claws scraped against the railings. Liri hid her face in Evan's shoulder. Evan, I'm scared. I know, he whispered, trying to keep his voice steady, but I won't let them touch you. Just hold on. When they reached the bottom, Evan stepped onto concrete ground. The place looked like an old service tunnel that hadn't been used in years. Thick pipes ran across the walls, and the air smelled like damp metal. Lights flickered weakly overhead, some completely broken, leaving long stretches of the tunnel. In darkness, Liri shivered in his arms. Her glowing skin dimmed again. She was weakening. Evan felt panic rise in his chest. She needs rest. She needs warmth, he thought desperately. But the Seekers were coming down too. He heard the metal ladder rattle behind them. They're fast. Evan whispered. He ran deeper into the tunnel. Every step echoed loudly, but he didn't stop. Liri wrapped her small arms around his neck, her breathing uneven. She was close to fainting. The deeper they went, the darker the tunnel became. The weak lights barely reached the end. Evan's heartbeat grew faster. He needed a place to hide, even just for a moment. Then he saw an old maintenance door on the left side. A metal sign on it read, "Authorized personnel." Oh no, why the paint was peeling and the handle looked rusted. But it was something. "Please open." Evan grunted as he pushed it. It didn't move. He tried again. Still nothing. Liri lifted her head weakly. "Evan, they're coming." He heard the Seekers' heavy footsteps echoing through the tunnel. Their steps were steady, no rush, like hunters who knew their prey could not escape. Evan backed up, took a deep breath, and rammed his shoulder into the door. Bang! The noise echoed loudly. Liri gasped. The Seekers paused. Then their steps grew faster. Evan tried again. Bang! Still locked. The Seekers were getting closer. Their tall, dark shapes now appeared at the far end of the tunnel. Liri whispered, "Please." "Evan, don't let them." Something inside Evan snapped. Not fear this time, determination. He stepped back, tightened his fists, and gave one last powerful push. Crack! The rusted door broke open. He rushed inside with Liri. The room was small and dusty, filled with old boxes, pipes, and broken tools. But on the far side, Evan saw something useful, a heating vent blowing warm air. He placed Liri near it. Her skin slowly glowed brighter as the warmth touched her. "Thank you," she whispered softly. Evan knelt beside her. "Just rest. I'll keep watch." He moved to the door and peered through the crack. The Seekers reached the broken door and stopped. They examined the shattered metal pieces silently. One Seeker bent down and touched the ground. Its claw glowed blue for a moment. "Liri's faint." Energy signatures lit up on the floor. They're tracking her energy. Evan muttered. The seekers turned their heads toward the room. Their red eyes glowed brighter. I tensed. They know we're here. Evan grabbed a metal pipe lying on the floor. It was old, but heavy. He gripped it tightly. Stay behind. Me. The door shook violently. Thud. Evan flinched. Thud. Dust fell from the ceiling. Thud. A crack appeared in the metal door. I cried out softly. Evan. They're trying to break in. He stepped in front of her, holding the pipe like a shield. His heart raced, but he forced himself to stay steady. The door bent inward. A metal claw pushed through the crack. Evan took a deep breath. He knew he couldn't fight 3 seekers. But he also knew one thing. I won't let them take her, he whispered again, as if promising himself. Just then, a strange noise echoed behind them, a humming sound. A vibration. Then, a light. Evan turned around. At the back of the small room, behind a pile of old boxes, a hidden panel on the wall had slid open. A soft green glow came from inside. Liri blinked in surprise. My mother's mark. I remember. This place now. Evan felt hope for the first time tonight. What is it? It's a safe passage, she whispered. My mother told me she hid one way to escape forever. But the seekers smashed the door again. The crack widened. There. Red eyes flashed through it. Liri grabbed Evan's hand. Please. We must go. Without hesitation, Evan lifted her and ran toward the glowing panel. The door behind them exploded open. The seekers stepped into the room, and Evan jumped into the hidden passage. Just as the panel slammed shut behind them, darkness surrounded them. Silence returned. But ahead, a faint path glowed. They were no longer in the normal tunnels. They were entering something older, stranger, and connected to Liri's past. The hidden passage was dark and narrow. Evan held Liri close to his chest as he walked slowly forward. The walls around them glowed faintly with soft green lines that pulsed like living veins. Everything felt silent. Too silent. Even the echo of their footsteps seemed swallowed by the air. Liri's breathing was calmer now, but her small hands still trembled. Evan, this place. I think my mother built it with old magic. Evan glanced around. Is it safe? Liri nodded weakly. It hides us from seekers. They cannot see inside old magic. That was the first bit of good news. They had since the night began. Evan continued walking. The path sloped downward like they were going deeper under the city. The air became warmer, almost comforting. Strange symbols lit up on the walls as they passed, reacting to Liri's soft glow. Evan felt like the place knew she was here. It recognized her. After a few minutes, the narrow hall opened into a large underground chamber. Evan stopped at the entrance, stunned. The chamber looked ancient. Huge stone pillars rose upward, covered in glowing writing. In the center stood a clear pool of water, shining with soft light. Strange crystals floated above it, humming quietly. Liri gasped softly. This is the sanctuary of Myra. My mother told me stories about this place. It is where our ancestors hid when wars came. Evan set her down gently. Do you feel better now? She nodded slowly. The magic here helps me heal. A little. Evan felt relief wash over him. At least she would recover her strength. But his relief didn't last long. A low rumble came from the tunnel behind them. Evan tensed. Did the seekers follow us? Liri shook her head. No. They cannot enter the magic passage. But they will. Wait outside. That meant they were trapped safe for now. But trapped. Evan sat beside Liri on the smooth stone floor. She leaned against him, her eyes half closed. The soft glow from the pool reflected on her pale green skin, making her look peaceful yet fragile. After a moment, she whispered, Evan, do you think my mother knew I would come here? Evan looked at her with gentle eyes. Maybe she built this place to protect you. Maybe she hoped someone kind would find you. Liri looked down. Like you. His chest tightened. I'm no hero, Liri. I just wanted to help. She shook her head. Humans always say that. But humans do brave things without thinking. That is what my mother once said. She said humans have hearts that shine even in darkness. Evan didn't know what to say. He looked away, unsure if he deserved such words. He felt like he had failed at life, lost his job, lost his home. But Liri saw something in him he didn't see in himself. Suddenly, the pool in the center shimmered. The light grew stronger. The floating crystals rotated faster. Liri sat up, surprised. Someone is calling. Evan frowned. Who? She stepped toward the pool slowly, as if guided by an unseen force. Evan followed her carefully. When Liri reached the edge of the pool, the water rose upward like a small fountain, forming a glowing shape. The shape slowly turned into a woman's face, soft features, blue glowing eyes, and long hair that shimmered like flowing silver light. Liri gasped. Mother! Evan's eyes widened. The glowing face smiled sadly. Her voice was warm but hollow, like an echo from far away. Liri? My child, if you see this, it means you escaped them. Liri reached out, tears filling her eyes. Mother, where are you? Are you alive? The glowing face flickered. I am trying to return to you, but the council has chased me far away. I left this message in the sanctuary so you would know the truth. Liri dropped to her knees, crying quietly. Evan placed a hand on her shoulder. The mother's voice continued. The Seekers will never stop. They want your gift, the old magic inside you. It can awaken the ancient weapon, the heart of Vora. But if they take you, you will be lost forever. Liri whispered. I don't want to be used. I just want to live. The mother's image flickered like a dying flame. That is why I left you hidden, and prayed someone kind would protect you. Her glowing eyes moved toward Evan. Evan felt chills run through his body. You human. Thank you for holding her when she had no one. Thank you for giving her warmth, hope, and courage. Even when you had nothing. Evan's throat tightened. I just did what anyone should do. The mother shook her head softly. No, many walk past a child in danger. You stopped, you cared. That makes you different. The pool dimmed suddenly. Liri. You must run with him. He is your shield now. Trust him. Stay close to him. He will take you to safety. Liri cried harder. Mother, don't go. Please. The glowing face faded. The pool went silent. The light dimmed. The air became still again. Liri fell into Evan's arms, sobbing. He held her tightly. I'm here. I won't leave you. Not now, not ever. Outside the sanctuary, a distant crash echoed through the tunnels. The Seekers were growing tired of waiting, and they were ready to break through anything to get inside. The glowing face of Liri's mother disappeared, leaving only ripples in the magical pool. The chamber fell silent again, but the silence wasn't peaceful. It felt heavy, as if the room itself knew danger was closing in. Evan held Liri gently as she cried into his chest. Her small body shook with each sob. He stroked her hair softly, wanting to promise her things he didn't know how to give: safety, a home, a future. We'll find her, Evan whispered. We'll find your mother. Liri looked up with wet blue eyes. But how? The Seekers will never stop. My mother said so. Evan looked around the chamber again. The ancient symbols, the floating crystals, the soft magic. It all felt bigger than them. But he could not let fear make decisions for him. We'll stop them, he said firmly. Somehow. We will. Before Liri could answer, a deep boom echoed through the sanctuary walls. Evan's eyes widened. Liri grabbed his sleeve. The Seekers. They are trying to break the magic door. Another boom followed, louder, sharper. Dust fell from the ceiling. The green lines on the walls flickered. They shouldn't be able to break old magic, Liri whispered in fear. They must be using something stronger. Evan stood up and moved toward the direction of the hidden entrance. He listened closely. More loud impacts followed, and each one made the walls tremble slightly. He exhaled sharply. They're breaking through faster than I expected. Liri approached him slowly. Evan, we have to go deeper inside. He turned to her. There's more beyond this room? She nodded. The sanctuary has 5 circles. We are only in the first circle. The deeper ones have stronger magic. They can hide us. Evan quickly picked her up again. Then let's move. Liri pointed toward a wall behind the glowing pool. There is a path behind that. But we must activate it. Evan walked toward the smooth stone wall. It looked solid, but the moment Liri's hand touched it, the symbols carved into the stone lit up. The wall vibrated and slowly slid open, revealing a long hallway filled with swirling green mist. Evan stepped inside carefully. The mist felt warm and soft, like walking through a cloud. The hallway curved downward, the light around them dim. But calm. As they walked, Liri's voice broke the silence. Evan, you are not scared for yourself? Evan looked down at her. I am scared, very scared, but I'm more scared of losing you. Liri blinked. Why? Because you trusted me, Evan said quietly. Because you believe in me. Liri hugged him tightly. My mother told me humans are brave even when they are weak. You are like that. Evan swallowed hard. He didn't feel brave. He felt lost. But her belief in him made him want to keep going. When they reached the end of the hallway, another chamber opened. This one was different, larger, round, and filled with tall crystal pillars that emitted soft humming sounds. The entire room felt alive. This is the second circle, Liri said softly. The circle of echoes. Evan set her down gently. Echoes? Liri nodded. It shows past memories and possible futures. Before Evan could ask more, one of the crystal pillars lit up. A shimmering image appeared inside it. Evan leaned closer. His heart stopped. It showed him holding Liri's hand, running across a burning landscape. The sky was filled with fire. The ground cracked. Seekers were everywhere. And behind him, a massive mechanical structure rose from the earth, shaped like a heart made of black iron. Lir, I gasped. The heart of Vora. Another image lit up. This time, it showed a different scene. Evan stood with a group of alien warriors holding a strange weapon shaped like a glowing staff. Liri stood beside him with her mother. Behind them, the heart of Vora was destroyed, broken into pieces. The Seekers lay defeated. Evan stared at the light. Is that a future? Liri nodded. One possible future. Evan took a deep breath. And the first one is if they take you? Liri looked down. Yes. Evan clenched his fists. Then we make sure that future never happens. Before Liri could respond, the chamber shook violently. A loud crack echoed from the direction they came from. Liri's eyes widened. They broke the first door. Evan grabbed her hand. Which way? Liri pointed toward another glowing passage. Third circle, but we must hurry. They ran together across the circle of echoes, the crystal pillars glowing brighter as if cheering them on. Behind them, a distant metallic roar echoed through the tunnels, deep, heavy, inhuman. The Seekers had entered the sanctuary. They were coming, and they would not stop. Evan and Liri ran deeper into the sanctuary, their footsteps echoing sharply in the ancient halls. The second circle shook again as the Seekers forced their way inside. Dust drifted down from the ceiling. Crystal pillars flickered like frightened candles. Liri squeezed Evan's hand. They broke the circle of echoes. They're stronger than I thought. Evan didn't look back. We just need to stay ahead of them. Lead me, Liri. The passage to the third circle glowed faintly. When Liri stepped closer, The green mist curled around her like it was welcoming her. The moment they entered, the air changed. It felt heavier, deeper, as if the room itself carried memories older than any world Evan knew. The chamber was circular, but this one was different. The floor was engraved with spiraling lines that pulsed slowly with light. At the center stood a giant stone monolith covered with ancient symbols. "This is the Circle of Trials," Liri whispered. Evan looked around carefully. "Trials? As in challenges?" "Yes," Liri swallowed. "My mother told me this place tests the heart. Only those with pure intentions can cross." Evan frowned. "What does that mean for me?" Liri stepped toward him gently and held his hand. "You have a strong heart, Evan. I believe you will pass." Before Evan could answer, the monolith glowed brightly. The spirals on the floor lit up, and a deep sound like a heartbeat filled the room. Boom, boom, the air trembled. Bright light shot out from the center of the monolith and wrapped around Evan like a glowing chain. "Lir," I gasped. "Evan!" Evan's body stiffened. The light lifted him off the ground. The chamber faded, and suddenly, he was somewhere else. He stood in the middle of a destroyed city. Buildings were broken. Fire raged everywhere. The ground was cracked and glowing red. In front of him, Liri lay on the ground, weak and crying. You left me alone." His chest tightened painfully. "No, I didn't leave you." But the vision didn't listen. The world shook violently. The heart of Vora rose from the ground like a giant iron beast. Seekers swarmed around it, glowing red eyes fixed on him. "You failed," a cold voice echoed. "You could not protect her." Evan tried to run to Liri, but chains of light held his legs. He struggled with all his strength. "I would never abandon her." "You are weak," the voice replied. "You have nothing, no home, no job, no power. Why should you protect her?" Evan gritted his teeth. "Because she trusted me. Because she had no one else." The vision changed. Now he stood on a bright hill. Liri and her mother stood far away. They looked safe, happy, protected. But Evan stood alone, watching them from a distance. The world around him glowed warmly, but he was completely separate from them. "You are not one of them," the voice whispered. "You can walk away now. Leave her to her own kind." Evan clenched his fists. "She is a child. She is scared. She needs help. She is not human," the voice whispered. "No," Evan said slowly. "But her heart is real. Her fear is real. Her tears are real. And so is my promise to protect her." The visions shattered like broken glass. Evan fell to his knees in the real chamber, breathing hard. The glowing chains disappeared. Liri rushed to him and held him tightly. Evan, are you okay?" He hugged her back firmly. "I'm okay. The trial, it tried to break me." Liri wiped her tears. "But it didn't. You passed. Only true-hearted people pass." A glowing bridge appeared behind the monolith, leading deeper into the sanctuary. But before they could move, a horrible screech echoed through the tunnel. Evan's blood ran cold. The Seekers had reached the third circle. Their tall shadows appeared at the entrance of the chamber. Their red eyes glowed brighter than before. The lead Seeker stepped forward, scanning the room with its deadly claws ready. Liri trembled. "They shouldn't be able to enter the Circle of Trials." "Not unless," Evan finished her sentence. "They brought something powerful." The Seekers moved slowly, fearlessly. They stepped onto the spiraling lines of the trial floor. The room reacted. The spirals glowed violently. The monolith shook. The heartbeat sound returned faster, louder. Boom, boom, boom. The Seekers seemed unfazed. They kept walking toward Evan and Liri. Evan lifted Liri. "We have to go. Now," Liri pointed to the glowing bridge. "The fourth circle will protect us." Evan ran across the stone floor. Behind him, The monolith cracked open, sending bright light everywhere. The trial magic clashed with the Seeker's presence, causing the entire chamber to tremble. As they reached the bridge, Evan looked back. The Seekers stepped through the breaking magic, unstoppable. They were evolving, changing, becoming stronger. Liri's voice trembled with fear. Evan, they are learning the old magic. They are becoming something worse. The bridge lit up as they crossed, sealing behind them. But the Seekers didn't stop. Their claws scraped against the stone. Their eyes burned brighter, and their voices cold. Mechanical, emotionless, echoed through the chamber. Target locked. Evan held Liri closer. The next circle was their only hope. Evan held Liri tightly as they crossed the glowing bridge into the fourth circle. The chamber was vast, taller than anything he had ever seen, with enormous crystal pillars that hummed like living beings. The air was warm and comforting, but he could still feel the tension pressing on him. The sanctum of shadows, Liri whispered, her voice trembling. My mother said this is the last safe place before the outer world. Evan looked around. The floor was made of smooth stone, engraved with swirling patterns that pulsed softly. The glowing mist that hung in the air seemed to guide them forward. He realized that the sanctuary wasn't just protecting Liri, it was reacting to her fear, to her hope. They reached the center of the chamber. A massive pool of clear water shimmered like glass. Floating above it was a glowing platform. Liri gasped. This is the final circle, she said. If we step on the platform, we can reach the fifth circle, the heart of the sanctuary. Only there can we be truly safe. Evan nodded. He stepped onto the platform with her in his arms. The water rippled below them. Light shone upward, enveloping both of them. For a moment, it felt as if the world had paused. Then, a low, terrifying roar shook the chamber. The Seekers had finally entered the fourth circle. Their forms were taller, faster, and somehow more terrifying than before. Their red eyes scanned the chamber, locking onto Evan and Liri. They were close, too close. Liri clutched Evan's neck. Evan, they're not stopping. They'll break. Through the fifth circle, too. Evan's jaw tightened. Then we fight them. Together, the Seekers advanced. Evan looked at Liri. I won't let them take you. Not now, not ever. The Seekers leaped onto the glowing platform. Sparks erupted as their claws met the ancient magic. Evan swung a broken crystal rod he had found earlier, knocking one Seeker back. The others moved faster, claws scraping against the glowing surface, sending shards of light into the air. Liri's eyes glowed brighter. Her energy pulsed through the platform. Suddenly, a protective barrier formed around them, a shimmering dome of green light. The Seekers struck it repeatedly, but it held. They can't touch us here, Liri whispered, her voice trembling with awe. The sanctuary, it's protecting us. Evan realized something important. Your power, your energy. It's stronger than I thought. You're the key, Liri. She looked up at him. I'm scared. You don't have to be, Evan said softly. I'm here, and we'll survive. Together. The Seekers roared, banging against the barrier there. Frustration growing. But Evan didn't flinch. He held Liri tightly, feeling her small heartbeat against his chest. He realized that no matter how small or weak someone seemed, courage could make them unstoppable. Suddenly, a brilliant light filled the chamber. A ship descended from above, glowing silver. Its doors opened, and a familiar figure emerged. It was Liri's mother. Her armor shimmered with silver light, her face tired but resolute. She pointed toward the Seekers. They are no match for us now, she said, her voice calm but commanding. Evan's heart raced. You came back. Her eyes softened as she looked at her daughter. I promised I would return, and I always keep my promises. With a wave of her hand, beams of energy shot from her staff, striking the Seekers. They screeched, stumbling backward. The barrier around Evan and Liri grew stronger. Liri gasped. Mother, You saved us, her mother smiled. No, my child. He saved you. This human's heart is stronger than any magic I know. Evan felt a lump in his throat. He had nothing, no home, no power, no status, but he had protected Liri when it mattered most. And now, the reward wasn't just survival, it was recognition of his courage. The Seekers, realizing they could not break the barrier, retreated. Their red eyes glowed one last time before vanishing into the shadows of the sanctuary. Liri hugged Evan tightly. Thank you for never leaving me. Evan held her back. I won't ever. You're safe now. Her mother approached. Evan, your heart is rare among humans. You gave my daughter hope when all seemed lost. You have earned a place among us, a home, a future. Evan shook his head. I just did what anyone should do, she smiled softly. Few would, and that makes all the difference. Liri looked up at Evan. We are not alone anymore. Because of you. The chamber shimmered with green and silver light. Outside, the city seemed distant, dangerous, and small. Inside the sanctuary, for the first time since the night began, they felt safe. Evan smiled, finally letting himself breathe. He had nothing, yet he had protected everything that mattered. And that was enough, for the first time in his life. He realized the truth of the HFY spirit. Even a human with nothing can change the fate of worlds. Liri hugged him again, whispering, We are home. And Evan, holding a small alien girl who had trusted him completely, knew that this night, this strange, dangerous, magical night had given him everything he ever truly needed. The sanctuary glowed brighter, reflecting their relief, courage, and hope. The danger was gone. For now, but Evan knew something deeper. The universe noticed hearts that dared to care, and his had just shone brighter than the rest. They had survived. They had triumphed. And humanity had proven itself worthy. Once more,